England. Jesus. Is that just your windscreen wiper?
We've come to Shaw House, which is in Newbury in Berkshire. When I was growing up, this was a school, local comprehensive, very grand, as you can see, very grand building. It was the site of a Civil War battle, which was fortified for the Royalists. And I was surprised to find, since I lived here, that it's been restored. Well, it's been restored to a non-school dwelling. Apparently, a lot of the original features have gone, but we thought we'd come and have a. I thought we'd come and have a visit, and so here we are. What is it? Is it some sort of
Walnut?
Yeah, it looks a little bit like a well. It looks, the leaves look walnutty, don't they? The building itself is Elizabethan, 1590s I think, or 1580s. It's quite a grand building. So it has some very, because I knew of it as a comprehensive when I was growing up, I never gave it a moment's thought. So it's but it's a grand building with very important people who've lived here. So several kings who've come to visit. Charles I didn't come here. There was a Charles I room here, but James I, James II, Charles II, various other, I think William I, I think, came here as well. If you remember your ancient Greek, if you remember your Greek, that says if you're a jealous sort of person, don't bother coming in. As you know, my Greek is very good, and I don't have a hint of jealousy. This wallpaper is imitation, reproduction, Chinese wallpaper from the 18th century.
Somebody's asking, are they in an hour or something?
Yeah, probably an hour and a half, I should think. This is the King Charles room in Shaw House. There's a legend that somebody took a pot shot at him, but historians think that's not true anymore. It's some very nice panelled room. Apparently the fireplace is original from the period. So it seems Shaw House was an important, almost stately home in England. A lot of monarchs visited here, but because of its sort of 3-foot wide walls, it was thought of as defensible. So when the English Civil War, well, the English Civil War came twice to Newbury, but Shaw House was part of the battle, the second battle, and was used as a defensive, a fort. Another one being Donington Castle, which is about a mile away. But it was attacked by the Parliamentary Army and rebuffed. That army was rebuffed. I think there was something like a loss of 500 men on either side. So even though after this, the Royalists left Newbury, so it was a bit of a draw. So the Parliament was pushed away, but the Royalists scarpered afterwards. So it's a bit of a draw. Oh, this is quite exciting. We've got, he says exciting. Isn't this nerdish? We've got, in fact, there's been quite a lot of nerdish argument on the internet about whether pikemen ever actually engaged each other, because it was a load of people with very long spears are going to, it's going to be carnage. Well, there was some discussion about the front rank being paid double and having these breastplates, which should have reduced the losses quite a bit. Quite nice. This, apparently these are fragments of the original wallpaper from the 1750s, which they've reassembled. Just fragments they've reassembled in like a collage on this wall, which is very nice. I had no idea this building was so grand. Seen it for many years, but it's just, as far as I was concerned, some sort of, old-fashioned municipal building. But it's extremely grand for its period. It still holds up today as something people would certainly like to possess. So as in so many other families, the family of the Dolmans who owned this house during the English Civil War were split between Parliament and Royalism. The father, the owner, the man who owned this place, I think it was Thomas. He refused to take an oath to the king while things were getting really heated in Parliament at the time, and he supported the arguments against the king's direct rule, the king's sort of more arbitrary rule. So, however, his son was a royalist. So when the royalist army came down here, he opened the place up to the royalist army, which used it as very effectively as a defensive building. You can see over here some earthworks which are supposed to be quite defensible, which was supposed to be the area in which the main outer defences, but military discussions are not really what this is about. It's about politics and how things got so terrible in this country. The country was divided into, in many ways, is a bit like a metropolitan elite against a backward rest of the country, which thankfully we're well beyond that as an idea in this country. But it got so bad there was no compromise possible. The flaws in Charles's character, the Puritan extremists, made it absolutely impossible for there to be compromise. So it was war, and it was the only revolution that was ever won in this country, which led to the Republic. It wasn't a bed of roses, the English Republic, but it's I mean, the whole point of these videos, why I do videos like this and talk like this, is because to show, you know, fighting for a change, for justice is a very English thing to do. So anyway, but it's not just, let's talk about moderates. So the next video I'm hoping to do is about possibly, as while I was researching this building, I noticed. See, I Google things so you don't have to. Anyway, the first battle. This was the second battle of Newbury. The first battle of Newbury, there was a bloke called Second Viscount Falkland, who was quite famously killed here. He supported Parliament against the King up until the point in which there was no return, in which case he became Secretary of State for King Charles, and he was admired by lots and lots of people, including people like John Hampden, who was a raving lefty on the other side. So I'm starting to come up with, the more I research, the more I find sympathetic royalists. I'm also interested in a guy called Lord Hopton. No, Sir Ralph Hopton. Oh, he might have become a lord, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, Sir Ralph Hopton and Second Viscount Falkland, both sympathetic characters. So I'm intending to do something on them. They were quite moderate. Tried to come. You know, it was getting extremely ugly. Tried to find a compromise, all this sort of thing. So so that's hopefully next, the next video. So I shall see you on the next one.
Wasn't going to be moved by it to think outside, and what the National Portrait Gallery and us as a larger.
And do you think all artists have a responsibility to distance themselves from arts institutions that maintain a relationship with oil companies?
Right, we're off to go and pick up some stuff from to do with Chitra's. Should we call it a club? Yoga club.
Yoga club. It's not a club.
From one of these big box storage things in Slough. So I'm quite excited to see how everybody likes a big box storage, don't they?
Storage units, it's called. 111 Whitby Road.
There it is.
Good that it's yellow.
Well, that was short and sweet. That was short and sweet. Yeah, it was all ready for us. I was expecting having to go down labyrinthine corridors, seeking our wares, and expecting a huge carpet to go in my tiny car, but no, it wasn't the case.